This is now part 6 of the Rime of the Ancient Mariner. And this part, oops, did I goof up? Sorry, part 5 of the Rime of the Ancient Mariner. And this part is filled with different events and images that show his redemption. And first, he's allowed to sleep. Imagine those 7 days, 7 nights without sleeping. He's already dehydrated, so that's rough. Sleep, on one hand, too, gives both body and soul rest. So not only do we need it physically, but emotionally it's very important. They do sleep studies and they find out how lack of sleep can drive people crazy. Sleep can allow one to forget cares and worries. It soothes and rests aching bodies, cures the troubled mind, and renews your strength upon awakening. So I do have a link. Let's see what I put in there. That your body requires sleep. Let's see. Boom. In the meantime, while that is coming up, he's blessed with sleep and dreams. Buckets are filled with water. And when he wakes up, it rains. And so he's blessed with fresh water as well. And then the ship begins to move. But this is where it's creepy. It's operated by the dead men. So he's blessed with movement and then begins to return to civilization. So this was the hyperlink that I had, the effects of sleep deprivation on your body. And so it goes through, talks about memory issues, trouble thinking and concentrating, more accidents happen, mood changes, you get sick more easily, high blood pressure, gain weight, and become at risk for diabetes and risk of heart disease and poor balance. So wow, for all those reasons, you need sleep. Okay. So let's get to part 5. I was jumping ahead of myself trying to get to part 6. Oh, sleep. It is a gentle thing, beloved from pole to pole. To Mary Queen the praise be given. She sent the gentle sleep from heaven that slid into my soul. The silly buckets on the deck that had so long remained, I dreamt that they were filled with dew, and when I awoke, it rained. My lips were wet, my throat was cold, my garments all were dank. Sure, I had drunken in my dreams, and still my body drank. I moved and could not feel my limbs. I was so light, almost I thought that I had died in sleep, and was a blessed ghost. And soon I heard a roaring wind. It did not come anear, but with its sound it shook the sails that were so thin and sere. The upper air burst into life, and 100 fireflakes sheen. To and fro they were hurried about, and to and fro and in and out the wan stars danced between. So it's as if the stars are pushing the ship along. And the coming wind did roar more loud, and the sails did sigh like sedge. And the rain poured down from one black cloud. The moon was at its edge. The thick black cloud was cleft, and still the moon was at its side. Like water shot from some high crag, the lightning fell with never a jag, a river steep and wide. The loud wind never reached the ship, yet now the ship moved on. Beneath the lightning and the moon, the dead men gave a groan. They groaned, they stirred. They all uprose, nor spake, nor moved their eyes. It had been strange, even in a dream, to have seen those dead men rise. The helmsman steered, the ship moved on, yet never a breeze up blew. The mariners all gan work the ropes, where they were wont to do. They raised their limbs like lifeless tools. We were a ghastly crew. The body of my brother's son stood by me. Oops, I lost my spot. The body of my brother's son stood by me, knee to knee. The body and I pulled at one rope, but he said naught to me. Interruption now again. I fear thee, ancient mariner. Be calm, thou wedding guest. 'Twas not those souls that fled in pain, which to their courses came again, but a troop of spirits blessed. For when it dawned, they dropped their arms and clustered round the mast. Sweet sounds rose slowly through their mouths, and from their bodies passed. Around, around, flew each sweet sound, then darted to the sun. Slowly the sounds came back again, now mixed, now one by one. Sometimes a dropping from the sky I heard the skylark sing. Sometimes all little birds that are, how they seem to fill the sea and air with their sweet jargoning. And now 'twas like all instruments, now like a lonely flute. And now it is an angel's song that makes the heavens be mute. It ceased, yet still the sails made on a pleasant noise till noon, a noise like of a hidden brook in the leafy month of June, that to the sleeping woods all night singeth a quiet tune. Till noon we quietly sailed on, yet never a breeze did breathe. Slowly and smoothly went the ship, moved onward from beneath. Under the keel, 9 fathom deep, from the land of mist and snow, the spirit slid, and it was he that made the ship to go. The sails at noon left off their tune, and the ship stood still also. The sun right up above the mast had fixed her to the ocean, but in a minute she 'gan stir with a short uneasy motion, backwards and forwards half her length, with a short uneasy motion. Then like a pawing horse let go, she made a sudden bound. It flung the blood into my head, and I fell down in a swoon. How long in that same fit I lay, I have not to declare, but ere my living life returned, I heard and in my soul discerned 2 voices in the air. It is he, quoth one. Is this the man by him who died on cross? With his cruel bow he laid full low the harmless albatross. The spirit who bideth by himself in the land of mist and snow. He loved the bird that loved the man who shot him with his bow. The other was a softer voice, as soft as honey dew. Quoth he, the man hath penance done, and penance more will do. All right, so what about this part 5? So he says it is the grace of Mary, the mother of Jesus, that he is refreshed with rain, and he hears these sounds and sees strange sights. There's commotion in the sky, and the bodies of the ship are filled with these good spirits, and the ship moves on. None of the spirits allow the men to talk. There's great illustration in your book of these men who do still look dead moving the ship. I think the creepiest description is his is it his brother's son? The body of my brother's son stood by me knee to knee. So more guilt, because with all this happening, he's also killed his brother's son. So it's not that the men's souls came back into them, and it's not demons, but a troop of angelic spirits sent down from the guardian saint that fills each of the men and allows them to work the ship. And then underneath the ship is this spirit from the South Pole that loved the albatross, that carries the ship as far as this line along with this angelic troop, but it's not happy with what has been done. It still wants more suffering on the part of the ancient mariner because it had loved the albatross. So the polar spirits, friends, whatever they are, they're talking, and two of them are describing what happened and basically said, is this the man? Oh yeah, this is the man. And he's done penance, but he's got to do more yet. So that is what is happening here. Taking a look at the questions. Alliteration in lines 303 and 304. So, up at the beginning. Okay. So, 303, 304. Drunken, and, well, we have this D, dreamt and do, and then as we go down a little further, drunken, dreams, body, drink. So repetition of the D sound quite a bit here. And that's one of our harder consonants. So it's like a pounding almost. Like think about how your head might be pounding if this is all going on too. Coleridge creates the emotional scene. 341 to 342, the body of his brother's son works with him, but without speaking. So what feeling do you think? I'm thinking guilt and sorrow. And like he would love to talk to him and say sorry. The body of my brother's son stood by me knee to knee. The body and I pulled at one rope. So not he and I, but the body. And he said not to me. Like he wanted to hear you're forgiven or something, some kind of words of comfort. So again, at this point here, this is when the wedding guest interrupts and says, I fear the ancient mariner. It's like that's all he can say. He's just listening to this tale and he's shell-shocked by it. And again, the mariner says, be calm. So once again, it was at a point where it really sounds horrific. And it's as if Coleridge wants to not get us too involved in this ghostly world, but pull us back so we're not too freaked out by it. Find examples of repetition of whole words and phrases. 358 onward. So let me see where that is in the text. Okay, so sometimes. Let me find that stanza here. So we have sometimes a dropping from the sky, sometimes all little birds that are. So again, it's repetition and it's the beginning of the line. So that's anaphora. And then he does, and now 'twas like, and now it is. So again, repetition at the beginning of the line, that's anaphora. And I think that's it for the repetition right there. But slowly, smoothly, we have some more alliteration as we go through. According to lines 377 to 380, right about here, what causes the ship to move? It's that spirit from the land of mist and snow. From the land of mist and snow, the spirit slid, and it was he that made the ship go. So he's forgiven the ancient mariner enough to get him out of there. And then the last part where these two spirits are talking about the ancient mariner. Is this him? Is it the one who killed the albatross? The spirit loved the bird, and the bird did nothing but love the man, and the man shot him with his bow, and he's done some penance and he's going to do more yet. Okay, so now we go on into part 6, and if you remember, there was this line, I fell down in a swoon. I think I just jumped too far. Oh, actually, I'm going to stop and not talk about part 6.